To see you.
I am so excited. A little nervous, but just ready to figure out what's going on in this.
Hey.
Let's do it. Hi.
So happy to meet you. I know this is going to be helpful for you. What I saw with your goals was to be a better advocate for brain and mental health. So thank you for doing this publicly.
Yeah.
This is hard for a lot of people. But my goal is to make brain health cool.
I'm not the coolest, but I'll help you.
It's like, let's stop going mental illness.
Yeah.
Shames people, stigmatizing. And it's wrong. These are brain health issues. What other goals do you have?
Well, of course, like, because of the opportunities and the platform that I have, to be able to use that to then help other people is huge. And I think that's the number one for like what I can give back. But for myself personally, I just want to feel better.
You're still struggling with depression.
And like I've never been to a psychiatrist before, but I'm on medications.
Anybody on medicine for a while should be seeing an expert. And 85% of psychiatric drugs are prescribed by non-psychiatric physicians in 10-minute office visits.
It was, yeah.
And that's insane.
Yeah.
Right, I'm a psychiatrist. I understand insanity. That's insane.
Yeah.
And no one's looked at your brain.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that's insane. When you were 7, your aunt and your cousin were murdered. Tell me about that.
I remember it very vividly. My mom brought me and my brother into his room and tried to tell us, I mean, we're 7 and 4, that my aunt and my cousins that were the same age as me and my brother were in heaven, and my aunt. And at that point, I still couldn't understand it. She's like, well, a bad man hurted them. It destroyed our family. A man who was in jail but was on work release, they allowed him to start working on their home in construction and became friends with them because he was in jail for like a nonviolent offense, I think, like for having marijuana, like, something like that. And they became really good friends with him, like even let him live on their property and help finish the house. And he went back to wherever he was from, and him and his girlfriend at the time were into drugs, and they needed drug money. So then they went back to my aunt's house, and she opened the door for him, let him in, made him tea, and she had Crohn's disease. So she went to the bathroom, and then we're checking on the kids, and she came back and saw that he was in her purse, and there must have been some altercation, and he just brutally murdered them all. And my Uncle Stuart came back for lunch and found everyone dead, and it was my dad's baby sister, and it tore our family apart. I was terrified as a kid though. Like I always thought somebody was gonna come in, and I wasn't scared of monsters. I was scared of like a person.
When you're 7, that kind of trauma affects almost everybody. Want to see your brain?
Oh yeah, I do.
So we do a study called SPECT, and SPECT looks at blood flow and activity. It looks at how your brain works. This is an example of what it should look like. This is a healthy scan.
Okay.
So the image on the left, these guys are the temporal lobes, and the color doesn't matter. It's the shape. It should just be full, even, and symmetrical. We did yours twice, once at rest, once when you concentrate. You have a beautiful brain.
Great.
No one's ever told you that before.
No.
But you heard it. And you heard this part right here. You can actually see it.
Wait, so one scan is from the first time and
So here's your baseline scan.
okay.
And this is when you were doing the X test.
Okay.
And right here, you see how this is sort of full
Mm-hmm.
and this is sort of pinched?
Mm-hmm.
When you had the concussion, or one of them, you hurt this side of your brain. Now, it can be fixed. So let's not think you're permanently damaged, because you're not.
Yeah.
But it's hurt. And when you concentrate, it gets worse. And so when I think of people who have ADD, the harder they try, the worse it gets. Because when they try to concentrate, their brain shuts down
Mm-hmm.
rather than activates. And yours, this is really clear. This is a trauma pattern. That concussion you had is still causing problems for you. So I want to fix this if we can.
Okay.
And when I see this, you can be a bit impulsive, you can have trouble concentrating, you can be moody, probably irritable, and you hate when you are, you don't want to be.
That's
right?
what it is. I'm always like, I know I'm being a little bit of a bitch right now, but I don't know. I can't, yeah, I hate it, but I can be really difficult. I can tell people why now.
This is why
it's
when
my
I
brain.
met my wife, I scanned her. And then, so here's the busy parts of your brain. And you have good cerebellum. It sort of drops a little bit when you concentrate. But you worry, you're anxious and sad. And when I see this diamond pattern, past trauma, that the trauma is still in your head. And yes, when you were 7. Yes, when you had pancreatic cancer. Yes, when you would lose a competition. Those are all traumas, right? And the competition stuff are sort of small traumas, but still traumatic nonetheless. If your whole goal is to win and you're constantly being judged and you don't, it sucks. But there are big traumas in there as well.
And there's probably more than we've really even talked about, that I think, yeah, that makes sense.
Well, and when you do EMDR, so in EMDR, it's a really interesting treatment. You bring up the trauma. It's like, well, let's talk about when you had pancreatic cancer. What they do is they get you to move your eyes back and forth while you bring it up. And initially you really feel it, but then it dissipates. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So the findings on the scan, the diamond pattern with increased activity in your emotional brain, past trauma. Decrease left frontal, temporal lobe, worse when you concentrate.
What does that
So maybe
mean?
you have a little bit of ADD.
That makes a lot of sense.
Like you should be taking fish oil and a probiotic and a multiple vitamin. And I have a whole plan.
Okay.
There's a treatment I like a lot called hyperbaric oxygen. We do it in our Encino clinic.
Is that the
Go in the chamber.
Yeah, okay.
And if you do it like 40 times, it actually can repair that part of your brain.
Really?
It's really cool.
I just heard about that maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
And
no,
I was
I'm a
like,
big fan of it. When I see people, I always see them in 4 big circles. So
I love this. Yeah.
look at your brain. We saw it. I can better balance it. Your mind will learn how to kill the ants. Your relationship sounds like you have a good guy in your life.
I just sometimes my brain.
So
tries
every
to-
day,
Oh.
if you know your goal with him, like with my wife, I want a kind, caring, loving, supportive, passionate relationship. Always want that. Don't always feel like it. These rude thoughts show up.
Mm-hmm.
but I inhibit them
Mm-hmm.
because they don't get me what I want. Right? So relationships. And then spiritual, which I want to talk about.
Yeah.
So tell me about your faith.
So I grew up in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where if you weren't a Christian, you said you were. But I always had a strong connection to knowing there was something more than me. And I think as a kid, I heard, you talk to God like a dad, like a father. Like I really resonated with that, and I really understood like a relationship with God. I think it is so important to just living this life to believe in something bigger than yourself. And that helps me so much. It helped me so much in the first little bout of depression that I had. The girl that I knew that was one of my good friends that went to therapy went outside of the town to go to therapy, so people didn't know about it. Like it was looked down upon. And so for me to finally go to therapy, it was just great for me to talk to somebody, to just like say like, I feel this way. So that's,
you want to just have an open mind
mm-hmm.
and go, what's the science? And does it diminish my faith or does it enhance it? And what I learned at ORU, and ORU is a very conservative school, but that's where I learned medicine. I went to medical school there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many open-minded people. I'm just always curious.
Mm-hmm.
Does this enhance my life or does it take away from my life? And when people are afraid, they become judgmental.
I just want to live a well-lived life, and not just, I just know right now I'm not functioning in the way that God has intended for me to live my days, and I just want to get to that. And I know I can, and I know I will. And there's so much I can learn in all this and teach other people too, hopefully, and maybe connect with. But it's hard to get out of the bed that day when it's like, there's so much, God has given me so much abundance and so much to be grateful for. But it really sucks when you wake up in the morning and you're like, I know I have so much to be grateful for, but I cannot feel it. And that has been hard,
Well, that's our goal.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like the depression's not real.
Yeah.
But we have to hunt it down. If I get your gut right, you're going to be so much happier.
Yeah.
And that's part of the treatment for depression, right? I mean, I think there's a biological cause. So we're going to clean that up. We're going to support that. But you have to do the psychological work, which is basically not believe every stupid thing you think. And I think sharing the journey just helps other people learn that there's hope.
Yeah, I think so too. I know it's going to get better. I've done the tools that I can, but having somebody to help guide me is going to be really awesome. And not everybody has this opportunity to meet with you, but I do, and maybe they'll get curious or be able to take the things that I implement and it can help them. And that all the struggle is worth it if it can help somebody else too, And it really is.
No, and it'll help lots of people.
Yeah.
And that's part of your purpose.
Mm-hmm. It really is. So I'm really excited and for the days, all the days ahead.